was sent by one of my subscribers a box of stuff to my P.O. box. And if anyone wants to send me stuff, my P.O. box is below. And in there were these silicone, like cupcake cases, and I thought, oh, I love them. What am I going to do with them? So what I'm going to do is create some fake cupcakes. Now, I know this is a bit of a trend at the moment, and why not get on that little trend? But I'm also going to show you how I'm going to make my own coloured fake icing to put on the top as well. I'm going to make 6 of them because I think that's a nice number. What I'm going to be using to make the actual cupcake itself is Resincrete, because it will cure lovely and quick, cure lovely and hard, and I can colour it without any problem. Although I may add some patterns to the sides of them as well. And don't forget, Resincrete comes in different size bags. I've got the 3 kilo bag here, but you can get a 5 kilo. And the more you buy, obviously, the cheaper it is. Now, I'm going to mix up 200 grams of Resincrete. So that means I will need 60 grams of water. How about that? 200 grams, spot on. Not that you can see it in my camera. Now, if I need to mix some more up, I can always add a little bit more to the tops of these. That's no problem at all. And the great thing about Resincrete is it's a very thin mixture once it's mixed, so it gets into all the nooks and crannies and gives you a great mould. So there we go. So I've got my 60 grams of water, and I'm going to give that a quick mix through. Now, when you mix in Resincrete, I know I say this in a lot of my videos, I may need to mix up more because I don't think I've probably mixed up enough here. Make sure that you push it against the sides to get rid of any of the lumps you get when mixing it. Try not to make as much mess as I make, because, you know, you don't need to make a mess. I'm told. Now, the great thing about this being a thin mixture is these bubbles will disappear off it, and they'll come out fairly easily, where the thicker mixtures that you can get actually don't dispel the bubbles as much. But work on a board like this as well, and I'll show you why. Now, I'm going to colour this with the yellow pigment, and this is one of Resincrete's own pigments, and it works beautifully well. And you don't need too much, but when you're doing it, make sure that you mix it in really well, unless you're looking for a marble effect. Now, if I was going to go for a marble effect, that would be it, but I'm going to mix this in so it's fully mixed. And make sure you mix it in, because if not, you will get streaks. I might do a marbled effect, because I will have to mix up some more. So I might do a marble effect on some. A little bit more in, because I want that a little bit of a deeper colour than that. I love Resincrete. It has so many uses, and it cures really hard. But make sure that you let it cure at least for 3 days before you paint it, unless you're going to put it somewhere that's really, really warm. I like to put mine in my resin curing machines, because then a couple of hours it's usually dried out and lovely and ready to paint. So there we go. That should be mixed up nicely now. All I'm going to do is pour this in. Oh, it does look like a cake batter, doesn't it? I don't want to fill these right to the top, but because obviously I want to be able to put my icing on the top of them once these are all cured up. So I just need to mix up some more. I well underestimated that. I think the last 3 I'm going to do as a marbled pattern in there and see how that comes out. I might do 2 like that. There we go. So I've filled those up. And the reason I suggest working on a board like this is because you don't want to be squidgy-widgy in these too much, because it might slop out. So at least this way you can adjust it by tapping this board, and any trapped bubbles will then come just to the top, and then they'll burst off. So I've done these ones as the marbled ones, and these are solid. That one's both yellow and the blue. So we'll leave these to cure, and then what I'll do is I'm show you how I'm going to make my fake cream and colour that, and how we're going to finish these off. I think they're going to look scrumptious. These should be cured up enough now to take them out of their silicone mould. Now, if it's an intricate silicone mould that's got a delicate amount of work on it, I would leave it a good couple of hours, because that way it's going to not get damaged. But these aren't, and these will come out lovely. And the reason I'm taking them out so early, it's been about 30 minutes since I poured these, is because if it's in a silicone mould, it can't dry out quite as quickly as it would if it was out in the open. So that's always a good tip. And they have come out so pretty. I do like that one as well. Yeah, I love those. The colours have come out so well. I had a dot of the yellow there, but never mind. Well, these are all dry now. They've been drying for a couple of days, and I'm ready to put on my fake icing. Now, I don't know if you saw my video on my other channel on how to make fake icing. Well, I'm going to do a variation of one of those, and that, again, is going to be a test. But before I do that, what I am going to do is, using the chrome markers by J Diction, I am going to put some stripes on this cupcake. So I think I'm going to finish it off really nicely. All I'm doing is using the end and going between each one of these little indents here that were made from those silicone cupcake containers. I love these chrome markers. They work so well with so many different things. I'll link them in the description below, and if I've got a discount code, I'll also put that in there as well. There we go. Look at that. I think that finishes that off so pretty. What I'm going to do now is, on the blue one, I'm going to do the same but with the gold. And then once these are dry and I've been round them all, I'm going to show you how to make up your fake cream and how to apply it. So while they're drying, what I'm going to do is mix up my silicone colours. Now, I'm using the white silicone here, and this is not the odourless one either. It's the one that stinks. It's a bit of a pain. So you need to work in a very well ventilated area for this. And all I'm doing is squeezing that into a little pot. And now I'm going to try and add some colour. Now, I've got these Holly colour powder. For some reason, I can't buy powder paints in this country. I can't seem to find any. So if anyone knows where to get them, please let me know, because I really would like to get some powder paint. So I've got these Holly colour powders. They're non-toxic, biodegradable, non-flammable, and easy to clean. So if you get them in your clothes or anything, then they do wash off. Now I'm going to use a little bit of this and hope that it does colour this silicone without making it too thick. In my other video, I used acrylic paint, but the water in the acrylic paint causes the silicone to cure up really quickly and go thick and too hard too quickly. What I'm hoping is that these powders aren't going to do that, and if it does go too thick, then I'm going to add just a little bit of alcohol to thin it down. But I'm hoping these powders are going to give these a nice colour. I'm not going to put too much in to start with, because I don't want to turn it too thick. Oh, it's definitely colouring it. Definitely made it a light blue. It hasn't thickened it off too much. Oh, that's made quite a nice colour blue. I'm going to put a little bit more in. Oh, this does stink. Get the odourless one if you can. Oh, that's coloured that lovely. And now to thin that out a little bit so it's easier for piping, I'm going to add some alcohol, but not too much. And this is 99% alcohol. It's got no water in it at all, so it's not going to react with that. And what it will do is it will help slacken this off a bit, but also that alcohol will just evaporate really quickly. Now, I'm no expert at piping, believe me, I'm not very good at it, but I do use these disposable piping bags, and I use 2 at a time, and these things clean out really easily as well with the big wipe spray. All I need to do is pop that in there, and then I'm going to pop it in there as well, so it's double bagged. Then scoop out my silicone, put that in my piping bag. Now, if I need to mix some more up, I can. Didn't take long to mix up, but it really did colour that so much better than I thought it was going to. Squeeze me silicone down, and now I can go ahead with going round this and piping on it like that. And this silicone dries really well, really quickly, but also what it does is it stays like rubbery consistency. So it's not sharp in any way. I found it much cheaper to make and to use, and a lot quicker to dry than the actual stuff that you can buy, which I thought was quite expensive. Now, see, I'm not very good at piping, but this is piping much easier using these colours as opposed to what I used before. I really like that. That's come out quite well. And I'm now going to add another colour to that, mixing it up in exactly the same way. Now, I can reuse this bag again, and then I'll get like a two-tone effect with it. And that is probably what I'm going to do. So I've now got my next colour mixed up, and that's the pink. But I've put it in with the blue, so I think we're going to get a trail of blue coming all the way through as well. Yeah, and now we're starting to get the pink come through. That looks really pretty. See, I'm no icer, but you certainly get the idea of what I'm trying to do here. I think that's come out so cute. Oh God, I wish it was cake. I love my cake. So there we go, that's that done. And now I'm going to just add a few little embellishments to it. So all I'm doing is adding some of these little tiny sequins and pushing them in, going all the way around. I mean, you can add whatever you like to it. And these will stick onto the silicone. I think they just finish it off nicely. And you can add things like these these other shapes. And this is just nail art that I'm using here as well, which look like hundreds and thousands. And I showed in my other video that I'll link at the end of this one how to clean all your nozzles out and all that. So I'm not going to show that again now. What I'm going to do is finish off the rest of these as long as I've got enough silicone left, because I've been using that silicone left, right and centre. And then I'll show you what they look like finished. Well, finished piping them now. I think they look really good. They look so edible. I mean, obviously they're not edible. Never attempt to eat them. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this silicone dry. It shouldn't take long, but I'll let it dry overnight. And then once it's dry, I'll show you what they look like completely finished. Well, the silicone's all cured now on these, and it's lovely and rubbery. So it's not going to hurt if people push the top of it. It's not going to damage or do anything. And I think these have come out awesome. They do look good enough to eat. I mean, I'm no expert at piping, but I really did enjoy doing these. And I think they're fun as well. I don't know why. That one is my favourite. Brilliant Resincrete, as always. Love the way it works. And I hope you enjoy this new updated version of how to make your own fake cream. Look how thick all that is, and it's lovely and cured. Move that like button, hit that subscribe button. Check out the video that I did on my other channel. I'll link it now on how I found the recipe for this and comparing it to the stuff that you can buy. Take care, but most of all, enjoy your resin. Bye.